na it's the same.
Well, my winning kind and a for ne yashefo me kosondo mase for their immense contribution, both in terms of revenue, in terms of critique, in terms of everything. Omode etai wachi ene yachi. You know, Libya Dameka. Enye nche searching oze uti Ekosiisen.
Yeah.
You know, no matter your disagreement with us, but still, Okosuti, say there's something good in your program and in our submissions and in the entire team. So we genuinely have to always appreciate them and thank them.
Sure.
No crane person say adia chiwa. Uni ubia odi asede command kopim say odebema sa supreme being, no.
Yeah.
You know, 8 year an African traditional religion. What was it? The supreme being.
We are 8 year.
Yeah, utmost.
O level.
So one year A level, 1 year careful. Sanchez children they said yeah. You know, your traditional religion. They said yeah, no one Christians soon be free, baby. Yeah, you know, so I think. Yeah, you bet you better the supreme God. You better nasi or any trading upon your coupon. You know, onunkuto na odo otuno swa Libya Dameka when mu enkogu aseda. You know, only nyame I say you hear or availability, just avail yourself and believe that o nyame. You know, the opebiane the ohwebiano onsa ebeden ebeka. Inti mesre a Christopher, I think our levels of laziness and over reliant on prayers and fasting, no? A year defeating the purpose for which we are here. In fact, so we should see true Christians leading the crusade to be in parliament, to be big businessmen, to be, you know, entrepreneurs, leading the media front. As I say, baby, Christo Pampa, you know, a bon honor. But a Christo for one way or the other, surprisingly, as you move Janier free. You know, that's a core responsibility as a Christian. Say, oh, my bedi yene muni pan bedi yene. It's very important. Say, yeah, gatekeepers, no. Ye jagu osa mobia be remubia. I can assure you that in the next 4-8 years, no, the parliament, August House of this country, if Christians and Muslims, ye faith ni na ye bakwa, activity righteousness. Na a provoke positivity, no. Yanye active in partisan politics, I'm on for the 6.
But I even have this opinion, say, I don't think the absence of Christians in politics, because let's face it, Oko Parliament and you would find mainly two religions in our parliament. It is either an MP is a Muslim or a Christian, or at least they profess to be Christians or profess to be Muslims. I don't think the absence of Christians in politics. So the challenge, they are in politics, but we failed to influence politics with our virtues and those values of Christ. We have failed. That's the absence. As a matter of our virtues and our values. Values. The values of Christ. Because if you are Bible believing, there are certain virtues and values. It is our values that was here the impact and that's here the influence of politics. But Christians are in politics because over civil servants, over public servants, Ghana. Because if you have 71% of your population claiming to be Christians, what it tells you is for all of these strategic areas, Christians in the position ourselves there. So what is left is the virtue and the value. The challenge is the values of Christ. In the areas we are. That's what. So there's an honest response. That means that you're tossing. Absolutely. There are Christians in politics. Pentecost say the political chamber, a group being and a lot of people. There are Christians in politics. And not there Christians because parliament and Ubusa MPB or Christian and the Christians are there. There are reverend ministers in politics, there are elders, there are deacons in politics. So I'm happy. At least you've identified two major reasons why
we seem to say we are Christians and Muslims, but the impact is not that felt as a result of say intimate exhibiting core values of what our religion expects us to do. In the influence on what we are supposed to do.
The adena was say mum ye call lordy over no. Na sa nneoma na lordy over us.
Exactly.
Rather than we in the Bible can say you are the light of the world.
Okay.
It won't so kania and fan shop. Also, this lampstand. So, in the area qua, rather say a bema yesuni a bind.
A dad, I dance.
Not, you know,
Akokafra. So, Nina to Afra.
That's the problem. That's really the problem. And so, Utie, chairman of the Church of Pentecost, Apostle Eric Nyameche, or ma ne exposition on the possessing the nations theme now. Those are some of the things he said. Say, dear Akasisi say, how do we influence our sphere with the values and the principles of Christ? And one of the Akasisi, that's the only thing left. That's
okay, so I'm happy really. Because very, very important. Baby, on mine any chireno. You better pull certain breaks on certain issues and certain values. You better because I said public office, your public space in there. No, you need any trade. You can standard be and you know, we all come just like you said, and I'm happy. Who can imagine because I'm power my shibujum, ura multimedia, ura jum, ura baby, abirabia. You can't say form me from Ranian failure. Ubia failure me a Muslim, me Christian, me a say. So why is it that some Muslim ni Christosum no ain't mean dima ain't mean ye and shasudia and many people. So we are with the religion. What is left is to leave the religious aspect of it.
Yes. That's the only thing, man. The values. And when is that Ghana say the breakdown of discipline, the breakdown of our value system. The value system, because see what is meant by integrity nipa nim kwa yemfanya hwe your friend is saying trustworthiness yemfanya hwe honesty yemfanya hwe transparency yemfanya hwe nti one man nipa na adwuma no owo adwuma nim say obu onidi ho odidim egu adwuma no poto no kone baby minim so won sembebre na ba ma clear way ma me Joseph Akable ni nkomo ni
before Joseph beba no Joseph who yan submissions o we are me no ye be discuss for hardwin for a azar na obekoku
Kweku Asare Professor Kweku Asare
Akable we are now watch him was say it's over in Asin North as expected into inference is not quite baby it's over hardwin on carry bawa kasa pa it's no over hardwin do no kwase a wo obi adwin chiro de ba it means me the adwin chiro ba say what kind of bro for simple ba pregnant pa
Joseph Akable was in the Supreme Court today for us ma yene ni nkomo Joseph akwaba na pom to say Adom na unzo Fantastic. One thing they say, and him say Supreme Court, na ye share him say eventually omudio ruling ebeba on the Asin North matter no. It gone viral. Say Supreme Court aka say Parliament enhwe na MP no muntwa ne din mfi on records mo. Say in fact onye MP da inti Asin North enya MP as far as the 2020 election is concerned. Is that the case?
Yes, I mean in terms of decision at the Supreme Court on a buy now, court no virtually granted all the reliefs of a year might and common in fact. Now the kind Supreme Court so when we read full judgment no justice Doche opted to read the orders of the court and the declarations that the court made. And see the first one already in it that upon a true and proper interpretation of the Constitution, James Ekosiisen was not qualified at the time of filing his nomination forms. I think so, or say the Electoral Commission allowing him to contest when he had not showed evidence of renunciation of the citizenship of Canada is unconstitutional. And after the court declared that his election as a member of Parliament for Asin North was unconstitutional, null and void, and of no effect. And the swearing in that was carried out in Parliament was also unconstitutional, and of no effect. And our final order now or issue, is to ask Parliament to expunge James Ekosisen's name from its record. And see, these are the conclusions that the Supreme Court Erichi Wokesa, Michael Ankuma Nimfa, at the Kodan Court now. Obekaya, Michael Ankuma Nimfa case now, or the Kodan Court now. And a very simple matter, Kobisa Court, Mr. Okache Court, Mr. Or court in declare self, we interpret Article 94(2)(a) of the Constitution. At the time at the Ekosisen filing a nomination form, that is between 5th to 9th October 2020 to contest the 2020 parliamentary elections for Asen North, he was not qualified as a member of parliament. And Omoka said, again, asking for a declaration, said, now we are allegiance to a country other than Ghana, which is contrary to Article 94(2)(a) of the Constitution. And see, and in some of the court now, and the court are pulling argument.
Wow, not just but and Judge Question Ankasa ba court Toby.
Obabi PM court or in the company of his lawyers. In fact, since that case started, and I think this is just the second time with nearby every PM court.
Ekosiisen on Asempa.
It is not the lawyer, the lead counsel here, Chachusikata still.
South Pepper.
But one other thing interesting in the in him say be a munya certified true copy of the judgment let me who details no but the panel on the judgment no air to jano and as the summary of it no omo can be fa easy one because you realize say Judge Ekosisen according to him and the lawyers time asem way by and komo ayedi any chiremo at the time and all filing nomination no now we can apply for renunciation in Canada but an Sankan certificate and he made that known to the EC officials and the EC officials not somehow waived that requirement or margin the form and we are also told say by November that a month before elections and an Sankan certificate what did the court say about the Electoral Commission as our action
specifically on the Electoral Commission of course let's say the Electoral Commission, by allowing him to contest when he had not showed evidence of renunciation of the citizenship of Canada, is unconstitutional. And so the court took the view that that conduct of the Electoral Commission is unconstitutional.
Wow. And Sisiana Supreme Court every with a constitutional aspect. Now I'm clear, consequential orders near there. We know so say the state is in the High Court. On the criminal leg, and saying that here, what are the real charges against him?
The main charge against him, a forgery and I think so perjury. And in a case, Egusu were done court or more prosecuted. I mean, there are some aspects of the matter now, all the way up. To the Supreme Court, there are different aspects of it and what the court but
yes.
So the matter is pending at the High Court.
And on perjury, meaning say we can't throw on oath
forgery.
And a forgery.
Argument they say or carry out or say or file a form now or some statutory declaration. And it's almost a statutory declaration now or signing. Or say the kind say you are confirming and swearing that you do not, like you've met the requirements.
Yeah, you don't owe allegiance to any other country.
Exactly. It's your more argument, let's say, that declaration of signing at that time, he knew it to be false, and nonetheless, he signed affirming and making a point that he had met those requirements. And Asema, a border on perjury and forgery against one matter
no High Court CCR. Oh, okay, very well. And apart from Judge Ekosisen, what it means is that CCR the way is clear. I don't know say Supreme Court in their consequential orders also can be say enunti or say yesan ko to ababie and as they've left that to Parliament and the EC.
I mean, from the way the judgment was read, I think it leaves one with no option than to come to the conclusion that it follows logically, because the court has held that this election was unconstitutional, null and void, and of no effect. His swearing in was also unconstitutional, null and void, and of no effect. And after in Qatar. So I mean, once that order is drawn up and served, it will mean that and if it is to be implemented, it means that the assent not is vacant.
Yeah.
And I mean, what we do not know for now is whether the lawyers will file for a review.
A review, yeah.
And on previous instances, the lawyers from my plan command if one attempt somebody the attention of the Speaker of Parliament. The Speaker of Parliament to Kaya or Council Parliament say he's not instructing the clerk to write to the EC because he believes there's an aspect of the case and not still pending in the court. And because of that, he was not going to issue the directive for the clerk to write to the EC that the seat is declared vacant for the by-election to be organized. And for now, the decision has come, so it will mean that the order will be drawn up and served on Parliament. Then between now and when Parliament again, we do not know whether a review will be filed or not, and whether if a review is filed, the Speaker will take a similar position like he took previously.
One final thing, because another question Nipa Bibrina Ebusa under a post I made on Facebook say a basse by-election, but I say we put in your by-election. Yes, I to abani biokra ewo asin north. Is ejection allowed to stand? Did the court touch on anything like that?
The court did not. But I mean, said a law on qualification and eligibility, Article 94.
Sure.
So also yes, citizen of Ghana attained the age of 21 years, resident in the constituency for which you stand as a candidate, paid all your taxes, and a 2 million dealing with shall not be qualified to be a member of Parliament if A owes allegiance to
any other country,
than Ghana, or 2 has been adjudged or otherwise declared bankrupt, to be of unsound mind. C, I think the C has to do it has been convicted for high crimes under this constitution, or high treason or an offense involving the security of the state, fraud, dishonesty, or moral turpitude, among others. I mean, at this point in time, I'm not aware that he has been convicted of any such offense. And we know that the matter is still pending in the court. In fact, he put that question to Frank Davis on whether in his view he thinks that James Ekosiisen will be eligible to pick the nomination form and file. His response was that he's not James Ekosiisen's lawyer. He's not going to offer an opinion on that. His lawyers should advise him. That his lawyers are the ones who are litigating the matter on his behalf. Now, the character, some are saying with Russia, some legal practitioners, in fact, US-based Ghanaian lawyer, Professor Ekosiisen, accounting professor and a lawyer in the US, so making the point that he has taken the view that he should actually resign.
Ekosiisen
when there's a by-election, then he files to contest again, and that is the view that he took in the onset. Because if he is filing to contest again, he will just simply put in his renunciation certificate this time around, which the Supreme Court said in that instance he did not attach to what the Electoral Commission accepted and declared it contest.
The only challenge would be, sir, because the case at the High Court by the state against him, no borders on fraud and on perjury and fraud. If he's found guilty, then meaning say but that we've not gotten there yet. Said here Frank Davis kind, and the lawyers would advise him on the next steps. Obetimi ateki. Finally, on Capital Bank Onano Asemno, and what's the latest?
The latest is High Court Amano Lifeline Justice Richie Bafo or say in Krata or mobile file or shame when we say almost say one of his companies money a year another foreign company or more enter into some agreement via as a foreign company and they say or motor a year the assets. In fact, Asian Swiss Holdings Limited is a company, and one Panoramica International Company. Or see, they've attached what shows that it's an agreement between Omo and the company. No, if you say as far as is concerned, no, the challenge is if the attorney general moves his motion now, the motion saying that because he has breached the payment terms, Obekaya entered into an agreement with the to accept guilt, so convicted for multiple counts of money laundering and stealing, and refund 90 million cedis to the state. He paid 30 million cedis upfront. Then another agreement, he was supposed to pay 20 million by April 28. Now, as at April 28 close of day, we are told that so far he has paid just 5 million out of the 20 billion. Now, of course, in 35.7 now, the AG holds the view which the court agreed with at the other time that once you miss the terms in terms of the payment terms, the entire amount becomes due. And so, as far as the AG is concerned, what is outstanding now, it means that there's no payment agreement, which means you have to refund the 55 million cedis that is outstanding. In the end, court is taking the view and say, just to give it the chance, because he has sworn an affidavit and attached documents. But interestingly, the assets not so liquidated in amount. I would say some $300,000, which is way under 10 million cedis. I think.
And it's just a new 10 million, baby.
A new 10 million, baby. Just around close to 5 million at a rate of 12 cedis, depending on which rate up to.
Yeah.
And the age, the crowd draw court and attention. Say, as far as they are concerned, it's 55 million cedis that is due. And the each court it's not the $300,000 because what is small, but they would accept the court nonetheless. Because between now and July 4, and the idea with GBI, hopefully he's able to look for money elsewhere and add it up when it comes to the total amount of
55 million Ghana cedis.
Yeah.
And as you say, AG share him so the beba.
Yes, sir.
One farmer there, not just say.
Moving application asking the court to impose
custodial sentence.
Yeah.
Very well. My man say Joseph,
there's one more issue.
Okay.
This case involving Anas Kwesi Nyantechi.
Anas Kwesi Nyantechi. Okay.
Yes, in fact, the criminal trial of Kwesi Nyantechi.
Yeah.
The Republic versus Kwesi Nyantechi.
Yes.
That's the specific case now.
Yes.
And some very interesting ruling. I've been more court or and Attorney General no make application for Anas to testify in camera. Now the court am a ruling on this particular matter.
Court listening.
Now Ahmed Swali originally I don't know a key witness. Now I was about testifying now. After Buku Anas volunteered to testify in his stead.
Okay.
In fact, almost say in fact, Anas, we know persons close to Anas have made a point that the day that he was killed was actually the day that he had actually gone for a meeting to meet the AG's legal team on this particular matter.
Okay.
That's what they said. But the court has given its ruling on the application for the testimony to be heard in camera. The court says Anas will testify in open court, but he will be disguised in his mask. But before now, Obabe na box ni Obeko chambers. Na Nyanti feeling a lawyer for Ashenemi. Who said, Ayonoa, and some man out to come and wear the mask and testify.
Oh, okay, that's interesting.
So that to ensure that anytime they on the back court, they have to be the same person who is coming. In this situation,
and the way, but any powerful fraba. Or share mask in Tini.
Exactly. Exactly.
And then said the application for him to give testimony in camera no court na boegu. Say
the court said it was granted in part.
Okay.
Because even on one application in Kwampono, they wanted him to go in chambers and testify there. But the court has taken the view that so the compromise is that you go in chambers, show your face, then come out. With
the mask on.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you come out with the mask on and still give the testimony in public and not in camera.
Exactly.
Sure.
Because the application for in camera would have meant that you would have testified with a mask off. That's what they are the point that has been made. So this is the fair compromise that the court said it has raised on the matter. And so for which reason it actually indicated that the application to testify in camera is granted in part because you will still be in public, but have
but in the mask. Okay. Okay. Mama say Joseph, you better in Komobio. Why? Joseph Akable, a court correspondent, and Moten and Kano, into 3 issues, and only Eddie Hong Komo, Asen North, Diano, and Capital Bank guy in the credit in Poede. Asian a seminar, and Afe, two Asian, and Afe the Republic versus Kwesinyan Techi. Anas Arimia Anas initially I met Swally and a key witness for the prosecution, but Anas a volunteer or no a bear witness at the Amas state, and that's where we are. You would also recall there has been a ruling against Anas Arimia Anas or Asasibi said what he announced I announced no. It didn't look good for Anas Arimia Anas. I don't know what his lawyers will do on that one, but court had some very strong words for him about say or the land guards, the police for Aji assassin forcibly freeing in some develop assassin against express orders of the court and in Sembebre, into that's where we are. But for more I think we're tuning in Ekosiisen NDC MP for Asen North constituency court never really said the election is null and void and of no effect.
Was as expected. Michi was as expected.
No, say having perused.
Say no because you but we be was at if you want to know as expected, it never be a ujana over as expected. Over evidence before you the clearly
say decision we are
but
say he's been on this campaign to amend our constitution, and of course let me also admit say wetimia pushy ama file a private members bill
the last time I need to go and
sure and the honorable Achim Swedru MP no your friend is saying
Kennedy
Osanyako. Ono na nidin ehye bill and the private members bill, and it intend they say be amend that part of the constitution that say we dual citizen some positions in Ghana won't mean hold. They think say it's unfair and progressive because other countries is had enough from statute. Why do we still have
But what do you think about that?
Well, it's an interesting conversation. I think.
Maybe will be, maybe a meaning about on the surface.
Yeah.
I feel that a Ghanaian is a Ghanaian. Oh, the Micho Kotina man and America and also Kotina London now, Okojiho.
A hot citizenship now, Ukraine, and so they are.
Clearly, baby, Obi, you can never be an American. So what I say, you can never be an American, even though I want to Munsem, Abrabo Munsem, but no crap, say, baby, I travel through money there.
But say on Lusu, a Ghanaian,
but yeah, say, Obakachem said, Makobo Sissin, baby, now want to Munsem.
Yes,
I'm a quite binti.
Yes,
Obaso just say, be an Indian, could be Kramako, baby, dread the beer, why are you doing that to me? Mini baby a fat na ya brabo mu nsem so what I say me gitum say me da so ye Ghana ni so what I say enti ahant me mommy my hands so mommy sir so me I feel that those that feel that they want to really come and help our cause ye enti me fasa dual citizenship sem no enfo so nkata omo nse
because our constitution ni positions are we dual citizens that won't nya no Bebreo.
Well, those do they still we have to hold on to. If we also say Jemu Maneko. Because no, I'm just a critical about security.
It is for president.
Minor coma. On said the NTR, Ebinus argue say dual loyalty is difficult. It's because I could or quite so. But maybe you when baby a travel through. I say America for no Americans is almost my bagana. I had a yo munchi. No, it's not. It's not. It's not. So almost you can be asked. I can say, "Oh my baby, there one is head." It's not. It's any possible. So that's it. It was that ma. My job, my home no my job money kaka because it's a mudawa. So what I say. It also a going to they've gone to benefit more. Apart from the bus system, contribution you cannot underestimate it.
That's true.
And then they do breast. Some of them mobile reforms. A certain level of discipline, and they don't easily compromise.
But the other thing is, and that's the counter argument, and it's enye wo nko an wakwa abrochire.
Oh yeah.
Ghana for bebre na akwa abrochire omo nkoje oman bia citizenship.
No problem with that.
Anytime they want to come back, they come back, and there are Ghanaians and more diaspora. Some of them are holding critical positions in Ghana. Omo the change but one clear example virus.
Na say aye Jakwe kra so
virus or state housing was in the US for a long time. Asenso Boachi was in the US for a long time. It omunyina atena ho aba. It se wonu kona bibi nti ukwaje citizenship. Un renounce wo Ghanaian citizenship. But almost one argument they say the omu expertise, omu exposure in they cite other countries, say Senegal. Omo no and they've been able to attract a lot of Senegalese in the diaspora.
There's a certain level of attention, seriousness, discipline system. Ukraine, you can't run away from that. One whether you became dual or you didn't, back. Ejuma bi omo ye baby I'll find omo bia no a certain level of focus seriousness.
Obey minister e Ghana and this will be on a lighter note an interesting argument say even so be minister of Ghana dual citizen Ghanaian say American for example there was say minister say Ministry of Energy you understand now I was say into a contract na contract share Ghanaian interest but there is also American interest in that contract. Where would you start? Where would your allegiance lie?
Say majority of these people are dual citizenship.
That is Ghana.
I'm telling you, no crap a woman no be. No crap a woman because Eddie Cross also American and that's how British no we Ghanaian Eddie pass almost set up no.
Nanya also call America almost American national anthem Ghana for the 27.
Oh, mean the
drew Ghana national anthem.
No crap but me say mean nyina no so empo minua Ghana ni ono akwa amana ne ana me yanso say na ono no sebe odisike ba be your money and also oji but me to me say there are certain critical positions that you should be wholly fully to say the judge crowd dia you see how there obia to me with this but we potting pa there jama Ghana for
I agree sir. I'm hoping sir the private members bill will go through na amend the list of positions
and not fair
na edimu
ohodia fair to say papa ya aboyin because of dual citizenship pronunciation na akwaka fe no you know quite be no transfer say by yemra
for now they amend
but as year progress
but you think sir for a position like a member of parliament obi a dual citizen
he doesn't take it away at all
but we say even and say you pass office of the special prosecutor act you sign the shame OSP nzo ye dual citizen na wontimi endi
then I make say you trust ye ni e bubu ho there was some critical appointments there you should be a full
Ghanaian citizen to say president
now
to say vice president
national security minister now so onkoye
dual citizen
hold there na you know there was some critical but minister na MP na no minia momi yamfa nkwa anim data gen momi yamfa nkwa anim kra minia na ye mo musu ehunu se yesu yiri ye humbo ehumodin a we can come because they are really contributing towards the growth of this country really contributing
we also foreign remittances contributing to our GDP now it's huge
and omo background na obi and I'm telling you they be am issue ECG as an example omo mindset no because of an ICT na dey ko enim no omo mindset yes president
different
we are see can be boom ntem ne etima konkan so at I say omo so no matters of corruption no na a minimal kakra because omo nya but omo e minimal it's ro kakra wom
Shamose bro an exemption should be given to Ghanaians who were born in Ghana
naturalize.
I say, yeah, one Ghana and we maintain the Ghanaians.
We can look at it.
But so being so, yeah, one brochure. But ne mame, Ghana. Ain't yes, only any mammy up a Ghanaian passport. I had the amano, but I was saying American passport.
Me catch you. I know the only union free. No, me just say trust here. Sa million in token na
we can go into
sa improve no come so yet be wholesale baby e be no kakra by the time e dey buy hoso no na afi bia tuma mo bia ehun atiba because me koya American citizen na me feel say we dey bia to nchen a ebusuafo nyina egu Ghana So I say busuafo nyina gu Ghana.
But my other fear so they say man because when him say adia ba especially for our friends in the political class.
Yeah.
Adia ba kwa mo bebre na no and dual citizenship because some of them knew say they would want to come back and occupy certain strategic positions. Say ye koko biemu a Ghana be dual citizen.
Obi.
But that's on the light.
Yeah.
That's on the light.
Obi wuzara. But it says and I make on say precious or montua.
But we have friends but for the decision said they will not renounce
their citizenship
in other countries and come ministers.
I'm telling you.
And non be ministry. They decide they say we'll still keep
we should take a critical look at it. Very important. It is a local government you can make us say assembly elections. We should really look at it. So we should really look at it.
We have to.
Honestly.
We have to.
So I say it is a kwanya betoa. Sa dual citizenship nkomo. As I say critically yes, again matters of elections DC for back to we have to really look at all the idea be a shisha mind ma obitimi independent to do whatever he or she is doing. Why do say we need to encourage that.
It's true.
So at the end sense they be anka say sebi yesi Ghana phobia e wonim die e wa amanone na emum esan say omukuta nkrata mienu ntino sa nimdie ni nyina na akafe na omo de bokonkonte won chensa dey sometimes
that's why omo abonte sa dey they will piss in sir.
That sometimes they come as consultants. They come as consultants at our expense. Sometimes they come as consultants at our expense because we need them.
That's true.
So what I say in media misusu say this conversation as so my Ghana ye jibre na yetinete yenya position on it eboa yan kasama enoma bibre timi koso ye no ne ani da ho say
it's true
nyoma bi ho so a yen koto na jeje mu because depending be one ma unfortunately no omaji dual citizenship no omo commitment and loyalty no instead say nke be hwe ni kuru ankasa of free as no koji another citizenship no rather no na unim akosho
obi send me one mutual friend be send me names of two very prominent Ghanaians very prominent. You know them. They were approached by this government with positions politically. But so the challenge was renounce your American citizenship. In the and these are guys, when I tell you about them and the depth of their knowledge and their contribution, the expertise of
names speak across the country in terms of appointments. Invite a certain kind of attention.
Of course.
And we have a lot of such guys outside.
Of course. In the end, we need a proper conversation around it, and we have to take clear decisions. So this is where we want to go to. These and these are the things we want to do to get there. Now, then we can benefit from the expertise of every Ghanaian living anywhere in the world. Now,
well, no, ma'am, quickly about some in common. Kofi Boachi now notary public of the Supreme Court.
Sure.
Yemona Baso. The jump one or jump. You know, Kofi Boachi.
Yeah.
So retired police chief
COP retired Kofi
Nathan
Boachi.
Kofi Boachi has been appointed by the state and sworn in as a notary public of the Supreme Court of Ghana. And only Nipa
90.
Yeah, and so encouraging.
90. Gabi,
we have Professor
Atifwa,
and, you know,
Dr. Sremsai, a lot of them.
So Doma say a notary public is a person authorized by the state to, among other things, administer oaths, certify documents, attest to the authenticity of signatures, and perform official acts in commercial matters such as protecting negotiable instruments. TCOP Kofi Boachi. Honestly, we are grateful.
I know so I say we 10 years and above at the bar. And so notary.
We appreciate Mopa teacher said they will see PGM then Ghana Gusunya home for so.
COP Kofi.
You know, we need to find something for him to do as a country. Very important. Such a person. And you make good adwini to me when say we free post you know. You know. And then I mean engineers and planners and so
okay.
I you know, engineers and planners Mansour Group signed $230 million Caterpillar equipment financing equipment agreement.
Okay.
You know, so Ibrahim Manin in Kofono almost they've really done well. Almost projected Ghana really well about mining now. You know, African mining giant Engineers and Planners has signed a $230 million Caterpillar equipment financing agreement with the Mansour Group of Dubai and Egypt. Inti onoso yebona baso say onoso de biada no I say zoom line on the map of Ghana no omode yenso
kosa na daily graphic and papers now.
Daily graphic there, daily graphic.
Okay. There is this story I think worth reviewing. The director of legal education in Ghana, the director of the Ghana School of Law, Berima Yaw Okodie Opong, Achim Ebuakwa traditional area. On the director of Wama. A very interesting. Say, ensuring rights of accused persons, allow magistrates to grant bail. Allow magistrates to grant bail. And I may pay daily graph and Ankametimia kind details, but it's interesting. And we would expand this conversation with him in the coming days. What it means for justice delivery in Ghana and it's because magistrate in the lower level, district court, any other identity officer also almost power to grant bail. Now reduce pressure or high court any other. So it would
Kwenya we so embo Lankwantana Assembly, that's Medina Lankwantana. Osha Zongo Junction maybe o man FM wono. Oversheno na de bia the regional minister share initiatives as no o check kwan ni with tankan na amanfo akutwa na amanfo kwan ban na tefo. This is our food bridge no mo ye was Zongo Junction. O so aye nipa no fast no masa engage sa omo backup police phone says how say yellow or blue no you know now ultimate cross kwan run about to cry and nipa 8 cow no more foot bridge no but now no we no nya na ni kwase nya de kwase baba so it's so funny say kobo assembly na
foot bridge mo demonstration
ye de amamu all the my junior because now advocating for N1 no cry La Paz so say e bi mro cry problem because oya de ni wi a any person say omo fa so no and there are increasing number of nipo mutonio too much obi ya law requiring Madina Zongo Junction Kaokudi Junction Kaneshi First Line too much but that's why I'm saying the assembly should do something about it. Too much. Me bolan kwantana abasono. Hona kakrana Zongo Junction kakana. Wada ni traffic light na sinyina. Yo. Na we you got ni achumoni abiesuni omoni. I done it. You know, I don't know why we have kept on encouraging say dreading on high. Oka akobo bi say pam. Oka fo bi na so say pam. The problem never. So intimestre me dam was say ne mama ye nyina ye for foot bridge, you know. If Damu in assembly, but it's at a cost too because they've engaged people to be there to ensure say Obian cross kwana basa.
It's true.
So what I say, it's mesre. Yenche whether the Ministry of Gender or the river, Momi yenche nipa na or more by streets this no. It's too much.
And
it's too much.
Highways. It's too highways. No. Ufri Accra Airport Takra. Any panel. Kev mo be no be a senioma or the body a be si kwan chain basa and. They be a between they be a konongo there and it's all over the place. It's all over the place. Where's Obi? The day we elect MMDCEs on partisan basis in Ghana will be the beginning of true local economic development in Ghana. Strangely, almost every country we aspire to be elect their mayors on partisan basis. Barely 5 countries are doing non-partisan elections, and they are not countries Ghana would want to be. We need to clear that major hurdle of electing MMDCEs to create independent local economies in this country. We need that badly as a country. Dennis Miracles Abuaje and Onodiwe. So knowledge and expertise in local governance issues.
But I agree, honorable. But the truth is that then we need to also relook at the system we're operating now. Because clearly, Oh, but I don't know there, but minimum measurement and yastic accommodation assemblies. Some of them, I don't know whether and Nina so you can see a train sika from central government or your mama. Yeah, because the local bylaws now assembly they are implement they are not. Minimum say 2 million and Srobi and do you know who I am? Because there are certain areas, certain things within certain assembly jurisdiction. No, maybe what
yeah, but the challenge for them, so we DC and because you are beholden to the center.
Yeah.
Oh man, let's face it. There are certain things that you can.
Power is not cut.
It's cut.
But
because imagine say you're to Obama, or man, who are in charge of Langwantanan, or 4-year mandate. Unim say, Nioma Wemon Kwana me ya EBA impeachment and Bibisa. All other things I have the power to do.
Yeah.
Oh man, do you know the things you can do? When you are running the assembly, unim say utimi the wow your friend is saying or IGF unim the other bay or strategy obet implemented the raise IGF mutimi employ mo teachers mutimi employ mo nurses mo mutimi tio moka mutimi famu cleaners and they even cleaning contracts at the assemblies the
but that's why I can say miracle
we need to reject this whole thing.
Exactly.
We need to.
There should be a conversation because me mom the day from where I sit. Ebiana miracle because you have no idea assemblies are really working. But no crane
for now they are not because we've created a system impotent they cannot work. They can't work.
So what I say
we've created a system
meaning because some of these assemblies in the party
no the point is I'm saying we DC the Directorate of Health I was assembly no no or reporting Ghana Health Service penny or Wakra
how is that possible?
Yes. We claim say you implemented decentralization, but in effect and in reality, no, and yet decentralization. It is not. It cannot be. We need to have a proper conversation around this thing. And let's devolve the powers no well.
Yeah.
Very well.
About a certain level of confidence be then no one was saying say where there's one more they be show clear
so more it wouldn't say in my assembly me here teachers 100 when you see and say you be employ assembly na employ teachers no you employ nurses I paint you no him say okay me man nurses we must scholarship akwa nursing training no we are omo be adwuma in this assembly then you can roll out
but doctor engineer no na to be catch you say about even generating money locally internally for some of the assemblies is zero. Because there's no commercial activity, there's no property.
But the point is, because again, they also know say common fund, common fund. Yes, I agree. Say for some of these assemblies, activity be but activities can be created.
Yeah.
It can be created.
I push you, provoke
massa. It can be created. In the Yehunesana, then we deal with assemblies or more special needs. Then we can deal with them. But generally, most of these assemblies are lazy because common fund beba. That's the truth. That's the truth. Because yes, so we are some pine now KMA. Why should KMA be relying on security assembly? It's a free national ABBA, we need to have that proper conversation.
Well, now quickly, me pese asenso boachen so no omano my update on your relationship with the matter of rent because rent matters keep coming up.
And say maybe we have to go back.
But that's what I'm saying that
our platform,
Ekosiisen how many people are beneficiaries of that system no more running. I've seen these Baumia pickups every
I saw the video yesterday. The see as a trailer be so now.
What is it for?
I should think it's for his campaign and
the campaign.
Say on Brandon or home.
Baumia campaign.
Yeah. The campaign to become flag bearer of the NPP.
So is it a big deal?
I think it's a big deal, one, because again, as a country, like we do for other issues, you have a proper conversation around funding of political parties and how politicians raise money to fund the activities. We've not had that conversation. In now you ask, say, okay, Baumia is certain vice president. Everything he does, funded by the state. We for a personal campaign to become flag bearer. I don't want to believe, say, a state funded. Of course, as a politician, you have to be resourceful. So, a president, you should be able to raise money. But again, because you're lost, ensure proper transparency, say, NPP as a party, resist the car. When you say, Mranica says, a foreigner, you cannot fund the activities of a political party in Ghana. But politicians, we know, say they go out there to raise money.
I am believing that the special prosecutor should be interested in some of these matters. Because you're vice president.
Yes.
You know, and sometimes perception is so weird. It could be genuine, but of course, this is not about it being genuine. But perception is that one, ikruma edin.
Yes.
That's what I say.
Yes.
Ikruma edin, we can get money to run our private campaigns. So our interest is that you, as a vice president, sources of a year
of such kind of thing. Yeah, I think. But the challenge, and cars, the pictures, but the challenge now, they say, Oman say, ako question is here. What will be the basis? Do we have law be a trese? Say we a vice president now who resist who here logistics for our campaign logistics na. Can we then ask say okay, as vice president no sika we no the toss animal in free the answer would be say you no any personal resources no we raise. How where can you go from there?
Well, we should establish some of these things because if we don't start from a point, we are building a democracy where we want matters of monocracy and inducement and advantage taking in terms of incumbency. It should be limited. We are dealing with a lot of perceptions. So some of these things, if we also don't work out a framework, that's why Makacho say, if the former president is giving 40 cities, if not to serve as inducement, but to say TNT, I disagree because that young democracy now, practice because we are getting there almost that now, if you don't pay me, I'll not go and vote.
But the other thing, the distinction we have to draw, and it's logistics for a campaign are different from inducing delegates to vote. They are two different things. In Tisawobe run a political campaign and for a political party, for an individual or contest, you need logistics to run the campaign.
Because he's a vice president, the interest is high.
Absolutely.
The interest is high.
You need logistics to run that campaign. But the point is as a country, we have to then identify, say, okay, some logistics not dependent. One, or so say logistics ni free.
Exactly.
Say fundraising or just kind of free.
Exactly.
Are they foreigners? Are they Ghanaians? And all those.
We should get to the point where the level of transparency, if you enter our body politics, will be okay.
I was saying,
we cannot also overlook it. Say, or the vice president of this land. He has an interest in the internal elections coming up.
Yes.
So matter of logistics, the Ubanya team, the interest is that team, legitimately, how did they acquire
those questions can be asked. But I think, and what's here, like normally, Ghana, we don't like to take decisions once and for all on matter. Issue of even political party funding. Why don't we, if we are copying from the advanced democracies,
how do they go about
copy it? Because if you go to the UK, now about campaign funding. Everything is you have to submit reports to the regulators to know say okay me campaign me raise sika no assume a senior bentin the brain sika minya yeni even to the extent say posters are there for campaign they have to know say adverts and in the media they have to know all those things are regulated. You can't just stand up and say my place adverts on media houses in the whole Ghana. People should be accountable. We should be accountable to a system.
Exactly.
For now, you create a system to regulate that
space. All I'm seeking to do. There should be a certain system that will subject us to a certain accountability.
We need to do that.
Apart from that, we will regret with whatever we are doing today.
Because we need to because we know how much we pay our vice president. He's a vice president by a campaign. Now all of a sudden who pickups 100, pickups 50. So former president by a campaign, now all of a sudden who pickups 100, pickups 50. We should ask questions.
Because they cannot come back to say that we always talk about funding of political party campaigns. Fight against corruption. And then we have done the same thing for over years. It means that we are all deceiving ourselves. Nobody should talk. And I'm talking to those so-called delegates now, these political parties. Reduce your powers to subject the people we appoint into public space. That accountability that we are looking for. And I think in this modern world, you should be ashamed that Entuma poor and their poverty. The timidity ban. They be the best also there because we expose our vulnerability. say you should nyoma pa timama yina standard in life no a reasonable percentage ya be stand in life obi no obey
and to the sense obi to make us a 40 Ghana into man menya bia
mentuaba.
Can you believe that?
You should be ashamed.
Wababe drew polling station.
You should be ashamed.
Wenya ntoma on tuaba.
You should be ashamed. Yes.
Charlie.
The commitment to love Ghana and to be patriotic to Ghana and to the kind of politics and democracy we are practicing, it should be extreme. It should be high. You demanded too much from our politicians. It's almost they don't have any choice because they want to be in power. It's the politicians who make up Bobby Siapa, they are say Juma we know. Oh, lose you them momudi.
Yes.
Because all lose a member of parliament. As gracious, what it means therefore is that is getting to that field.
And
that's why most of them will exit and then you are near draining your mind. Or pay free man or abacocratic.
Because Osha was here.
No, I can't go. Ekokem.
The other one, a cat.
Ekokem. It will be messy. We should really sit up well once we are coming to do real politics. I think you be real politics in Mankazo. I feel Yankasa niebe. It's ya careful. I feel the Oman Ghana no. Yenfa merit in ye BBM. Yenfa integrity in ye BBM. Yenfa credibility in ye BBM. What we need is money. To Dominic Tia, it's as a no one yesikentino. Or say me corporate mayor president. And careful, the people that we are giving advantage for them to enter into the public space, we should be very careful.
It's true.
We should be very careful. The kind of people that we are introducing to sensitive positions in this country. Yes, our mind be not done agro. Agro. Money. And we lose the real focus as a country to develop.
It's true.
On this note,
it's true.
Me di manusia mo ato a onkomo so no enoma mienu na eba up be won say GRTC for on attitude transport fares so by thousands it is now 10% na ekuo bi nso so omo dey and omo church was they will not comply with whatever baza ekrobia governed by rules and regulations
why am no comply
bi no omo kwa omo shebre
why consent
no omo na Dominic omo church Dominic I want my church or the minister is aware of that thing.
No.
I don't know those people. Obi. I may sell more. Or mine, ye chicken, ye demra, na chicken mine. Ultimate now a man share on Cassessa Ghana, see Poshembra. Now GRTC na yetino. Now owing. Sebi. Ti won't tiasia. Use the needed channels, but don't sit there and tell your members to say media side the sector minister no are there copy sector minister and all relevant agencies and bodies no was here and comply to that one comply emra ho e be chiwa enye amanyo sem de ekoyi who do quarter they bebrebe e wa bontin say do court them a different scenario altogether ye member sem bebrebe wa bontin e do quarter na for camera. It is our so-called groups how do they imagine no for whatever interest no they should comply. If you want to be recognized as a formidable grouper, you should comply with rules and regulations of the land. True. It's very important. Number 2, say we are no say pass intimi kuntia illegal mining as on mine intimi minimize it by increase na ye kwaye no ene yensuo no yegusu se no obi Mr. Ghana for we mean from Mobi and it about fine so you on one no news or one ye be kwa ye be kwa kudisikechi ye be wi akire no na afi
nyoma nyina
aginsem me be sia na makado for say ABTS onipa sonko e wo bro afoma mu bro wo de maka ABTS
e hoya
no. One of the stalwarts in Ahafo, in Ghana, in Africa.
Hey,
Apreku so melonim ABTS. O de wo bi unim hwe. Dominic Ben kasa me si do mu text message beba.
Apreku so me.
Yeah, ABTS. Na me ya do ma.
O krobenso.
O nyame fa bo ne nche ho. Breku mo sem na me kan. Me si bro Ahafo.
Na se breku me ni Ahafo.
Me che say that time na no gina ne na so ne o gina na so. Na ye bro Ahafo. It's ABTS.
Oh, okay. Apreku sawmill. That's not okay. What's Apreku sawmill?
Papa ndi ene Apreku. Ene Apreku.
Apreku
Apreku so but the deeper near ABTS.
Na sawmill or that's using na so.
Papa.
Oh, okay.
Oh, papa. papa ojina ne na so ankasa Erade ato safre no. That's the unfortunate thing. Yeah, Jamie
Eric Ajay said, "Hey, Obi, you don't know ABT. He employed thousands of people
over thousands in Ghana. Bonofo bebrebe gu amano ne omako school nyina etukwa nyina ni contribution part. O de ne onyame the chair ni fiada ni 1 week room de be koso obrekum. Onye ni paketo a. Onye sika at a very young age. And obua bura for ankasa.
I'm only hoping said said yeah a two Ghanaian businesses no
then
you know I know the no one pie na yebo say na chibe
ye kwata abusuafo achi ABTS na me adon afiada we obrekum na odo bo hu amanfo me text messages beba
Eric Ajay said papa ne first son Apraku or say his first son Apraku is my close friend my condolences to the family wow as already odupon pa na etutu
more than wa region nankasa you know because nyoma no ye emo no de boa region and afi happy birthday one of the youngest guy person who win the PhD very soon a lawyer Lawrence Kwesi Boche Jr. Kwesi Boche Jr. So when Kwesi Boche Jr. Auntie Gloria, they all standing war.
Trobo, Trobo constituency.
At age 23, or you're close to or picking up.
Hey, in the PhD.
PhD.
Wow, that's quite an achievement.
Yeah, so lawyer, my friend lawyer, I did more law school in Timibua. So Makola. Yeah,
that guy. Oh, sir. I was saying PhD.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It's lawyer. It's me onye lawyer. It's really Kwesi Boche Jr.
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
And a birthday. Wow. Obisa in Kancho said pickups, no, the branded pickups in Baomi just 6. In the Omoeka say 600 na spin.
Okay.
And
it's a good education.
That's from Nana Hesi or
It's a good education.
But a Krobia Asante so say Obi volunteer groups or individuals are at liberty to brand pickups according to brand specifications and campaign for Dr. Baumia. Also then we welcome the enthusiasm of various groups in their support for the campaign. It is a communal labor and our civic duty to see Dr. Baumia as the next president of Ghana. Once the branding is sanctioned, I don't have any issue with it. Get authorization and you are good to go. Okay. God bless those who donated these 6 pickups and adhere to the branding rules.
We don't have. Normally, say we didn't expect anything outside this.
Yeah.
What is important is that they've come to certify.
Of course.
Say from and yet the number 1,800, but 6. So Omabe can say 6. Na obi to compare update bana say 12 a certification be from omra we be 300 and 400 you know until say it is right that we ask some of these questions you know because social media is flogged with some of these things you know come the work of 275 a year pickups work of 5,000 pickups so quickly some of the response but we'll go by it for now but we'll go behind what they've told us and then get proper details of what is really also happening we should be well. Let us take our health matters serious. And the day Adamika.
I say BP now say actually 3 days be our check. Say any world hypertension day. BP
mo yere mo ho achia nso emuye you know ye nkasa ankofo na omoka akoka kwantimfi ni all those things yanka omo kotokofo yere mo achia emuye and ope well you know man tourist sites in Ghana
I think it was you better come off a prominent paint when you are Honorable Sam Nati George, ABD and Como.